Well, welcome back. Thanks for spending time with us today. You're honestly in for such a treat. If you've been a regular listener of It Matters, you've met Liz before. Liz Fiedler Mergen is joining us. Say hello, Liz.
Hi, Kelly. Thanks for having me back.
Liz, I wish I remember the year. It could have been early 2020.
It was 2020.
It was 2020. First time she came on the show. And as soon as she was here, I was super excited to go out to what she had at Sunny Mary Meadow. It was a little roadside stand. And I think I got there just in time. And she and her daughter, her one daughter at the time, were out kind of running around. And I got to meet both of them. And I got to pick up some canned goods and some flowers. And it was just so fun. And then shortly after that, tragedy struck your family. And I don't know if everybody knows the story, but Josh was your husband at the time. And we learned that I was watching a video the other day of the last conversation that you had with Josh was, I think I might be having a baby, but not sure, too soon to tell. And he was super excited. And that was your last conversation before he suddenly passed away. And it was just so unpredictable. No one ever could have imagined. Then we fast forward and you are trying to get through this. You got a new baby on the way. You're thinking, live here on your husband's farm. Very attached to the farm and the family and everything. And you're thinking, I have to find a way to be happy for me, for my daughter, for my new baby that's on the way that you found out the day after his funeral. And I just can't, there's other people that have gone through these difficult things like you. But what you did was, I have to start writing, right? I've got a journalist. So since then, so many things have happened. I don't know how you keep coming up with new things to do, but you've met someone. Obviously, this has been a while back. He was known as your farm fiance.
Yeah, flower farmer fiance was his nickname, and now he's flower farmer husband. But yes, right. I'm remarried. That's how we added the Mergen to the end of my name. But yeah, the farm, it really kept growing in response to the community. And if you would have told me, okay, map out what this business is going to look like in 5 years, there's no way I could have answered it. There's no way I could answer it 2 years at a time.
Yeah.
But I just kept responding to what my customers were asking for. So we had this farm stand, and then we turned it into subscriptions, and then I kept getting asked to do wedding flowers.
So subscriptions where people could order flowers to come every month?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
And we do still do that, but now we have built a event space on the farm, and so I think it's booked 52 times, Kelly, for 2026 alone.
Are you kidding me?
There's a couple weekends where we have 4 showers booked. Saturday morning,
gosh.
Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. But that's what we built it for, was kind of an everything. I call it an everything but weddings venue, because there's so many wonderful places to get married in central Minnesota. And we have this big walk-in cooler now that we grow so many more flowers. And so we have the ability to do quite a few weddings. And so we do the flowers for them, but there's so many great places to get married that we'll do the flowers for those, and we'll do the showers and rehearsal dinners and anniversary parties and
family reunions.
Yeah.
Anything like that. That's and you've got, is that the Bloom's room?
The Bloom room.
The Bloom room.
The Bloom room.
I love it. And you also can have workshops there. Is that the next kind of phase? It's
we're starting to book a lot of team building events, different things like that. And so that's been just really fun and leaning into that. But I would say that, I never planned on what Sunny Mary Meadow was going to turn into, other than I just knew that it kept me busy, but it also kept me finding joy. And I'm careful about using the word happiness versus joy, because and I talk about this in my book, and happiness is something that, it's kind of this state of being, and you can't really force it, especially when you're grieving, but you can seek out little moments of joy and paying attention to those things that make your heart feel lighter or not as heavy or whatever that might be. And truly being remarried. And that's what my husband was to me. He was a little bit of sunshine in a really dark time. And I know that sounds so cheesy. I know it
doesn't.
But
Not to me. I talk to so many people on this show. We talk about this kind of stuff a lot because I'm tired of ignoring the things that are so important to people. People have lost spouses or children, and suddenly it's just, we talk a lot with Breeze Lodge and Tammy Cruz.
Yep, Tammy is fantastic.
Yeah, and losing her daughter and her experience of people don't understand. Family and friends want to, they really want to be there and they try, but no one can be in your head like someone else who's gone through a shared experience. And so now, fast forward, all that time you were journaling, right? Journaling all these feelings. And now you have written a memoir, and today is the day.
Today's the day.
It's available for people. It's in bookstores. It's here in the bookstores in St. Cloud. Yeah. It's called Flowers Bloom Anyway.
Yes.
Did you have to do any editing of this book?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So how it first started out was just journaling for myself. And then after about 6 months, it turned into, we'll say stuff, but it was a different S word, Kelly.
Yeah.
It was stuff,
Yes.
stuff not to say when someone's husband died. And it was a pretty angry book because I was angry. And anger is a normal stage of grief, but I was becoming a pretty angry person, if I'm being honest. And I really wanted to have this, how to talk to someone that's grieving. And then it turned into how to find happiness. And then it turned into how to let go of your anger. And I kept just trying to answer those questions that I kept getting asked. And I realized after a couple of years, I'm like, I'm never going to publish this book because who am I to tell someone how to grieve? And I realized that by sharing my story and what I went through the whole time, and even now, still 5 years later, picking out a headstone, there's so many different things that you have to choose especially when you're widowed young, but am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong?
Right.
And there is no right or wrong way. So I felt like if I share my experience, at least people don't feel so lonely. And I'm not saying what I did is right. I'm just saying this is what I did, or this is how I felt, and it's normal to feel this way. There is no normal. And so I realized that it turned back into a memoir. It's just the story of kind of this 5-year period, and it goes through every single year, and you can really see, at least I hope you can see it. And I tried to, I kept it really raw, and in some places I tried to show the scar, not necessarily the wound, because we don't need to, dig up a lot of that stuff. But I just really wanted to share, this is how I felt. This is, someone said or did this and it was hurtful, or it was, whatever. But grief gives you this lens where things sometimes land how they shouldn't, right? If I went through it now, I'd probably have an entire different perspective, of course, because time gives you this rearview mirror. But that's how I was taking it at the time. And that's how I felt at the time. And so, just trying to be sensitive and knowing that, focus on intention of things. But there's a lot of really positive things in the book too, just that were helpful to me. There's a whole chapter in there called the Platinum Rule. And, you hear the golden rule is treat others how you want to be treated. But in grief, I talk about the Platinum Rule. No, treat others how they want to be treated. And, for a while, people are dropping off hot dishes or dropping off things. And, it's great, except for it's me and my 3-year-old who's not going to eat anything. And my sister had moved in with me, and I didn't really want all these brownies and hot dishes all the time.
Yeah.
And so finally, some people started giving me just Coburn's gift cards. And it was like, this is so nice because I can go grocery shopping, or I can, it just gave me a little bit of choice. And I'm not saying that that's what everyone wants, but that's what I wanted.
But you know what? That's so good to be able to hear that, because this is one of the biggest things people say is, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I want to be there, and I want to hug them, and I want to make them feel better. And I'm sure you realize these people are trying so hard to help me, but this is just creating a lot of stress, right? And I think it's important to share that in a book. And not everybody has the ability to journal or to write down their feelings or to share it, right? There's a lot of people that go through this and that isn't their avenue, but they can read something that can help them get through this. And so this is going to be that book that tells the raw experience, right? The good, the bad, the ugly. Not, like you said, not saying it's right or it's wrong, but hey, here's some insight into how I felt, and it might be able to help a lot of people.
Yeah. And I really want it to be, my community of Sunny Mary Meadow customers. There's probably 3,000 people over the last 5 years for sure, that have bought something or somehow supported or, followed along. My social media went from 300 to, I think it's at like 9,000 on Facebook
crazy
now. And, just this group, and, my email list is like 3,000 people that, there's 2,000 that open the emails, twice a month. And they just, they're just such a close community. And I'm so appreciative. And really that's in there a lot too, is Sunny Mary Meadow helped me heal. Building this business helped me heal, but I couldn't have done it without my customers. I mean, I kind of laugh at, 2021, 2022, those couple years at first. Those same customers paid full price for a bouquet, and they came out and they planted flowers and they pulled weeds, and they, they were like, nope, we're not letting you give up. We're going to help you. And
wow. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
People seem to come in at just the right time. But so the book, how many chapters is in the book?
It is 98 chapters, but some of them are only a page or two long, and some are 3 or 4. But
does it take you from the beginning through? Is it like chronological?
Yep, there's 6 parts, and that's something that I didn't really realize. And I was talking to one of my friends about it, and he's like, Liz, I'm really excited to read it because so many people, when they write a memoir, they write it 40 years removed, 30 years removed. He's like, yours is written kind of in real time, and you can see, and you definitely can. There's times where I go in to a chapter and I would write toward the end of the chapter, there'd be a little break, and I'd say, hey, I wrote that 3 years ago. Heads up, I no longer feel that way. I mean, just a little example. I was so mad at my dad for not offering and asking and knowing that he should fill my water softener salt. And I was so mad at him, and I wasn't answering the phone for like 2 months, and he lives like 3 hours away. And my mom's like, hey, you need to talk to your dad. What are you so upset about? And I'm like, he came up and he didn't even do my water. She's like, Liz, he can't read your mind. You can't be mad at him about that. And now we kind of joke. And she's like, Liz, he doesn't even do that for me. Your brothers do it, we're laughing, but it's things like that, when you're grieving and you can just hyper fixate on something that someone is or isn't doing, sometimes you're looking for a reason to be angry and, sometimes.
And not even know it.
Exactly. It's never the thing. It's always the other thing. And it's complicated.
And I think that's when people are going to get into this book and they're going to be in this chapter and going, at this point, she doesn't know this is going to happen. Oh, this just happened. This is how she's feeling in that moment. And you're right. Somebody else may have already gone through this and go, oh, this is exactly how I feel. Or somebody else going, I have someone that this happened to and I want to understand. Or it could happen to any one of us at any given moment. Are you going to be doing any book signings or be anywhere?
Yeah. So I just made a website, lizfiedlermergen.com, and there's, book signings and author copies, but I'm going to be at the St. Cloud Library. I'm going to be at Barnes & Noble in St. Cloud. The book is already there available, signed copies.
So you
can go there today. Go to Barnes & Noble today, signed
Yay.
Copies. But I'm going to be at the library in St. Michael and in Sauk Center and St. Cloud, and I've got a couple different events throughout the state so far, and
wow,
it's been fun.
It's been fun, and I'm just so glad to see how you have changed and kept moving with this, because you really do seem like things have just kind of happened the way they're supposed to, and I appreciate you sharing everything in your new memoir.
Thank you so much. And this copy is for you, Kelly.
I get a copy?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yes. It's funny, I just reached out to the library because I was looking for a book to read. Now I've got one. And
it's got like 40-some people wait list. The St. Cloud one does.
Does it really?
Yes. It's just been such a fun kind of rally behind me project. We called it the Bloom Crew. People that were on the email list for the book, and there's about 600 people, and I'm like, hey, request it at your library. Do this, do that. And they
honored.
did. They're so cool.
Oh,
so
I'm honored. Then. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And if people want to learn more about Sunny Mary Meadow, is it sunnymarymeadow.com?
Yep, sunnymarymeadow.com, Instagram, Facebook, all the things. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
Quite an accomplishment with the book.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story and helping everyone.